What started as putting a water tank back into our boat has quickly turned into an expensive bill and wondering what on earth we're doing with our lives. In the end, are we going to be happy with the money spent or regret ever touching it? I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Our life rarely goes as planned, and this story is no different. But we are determined to rebuild our beautiful steel boat, even stronger than she was before. And we're bringing you along with us.
Well, today we loaded up the van with some stuff out of the sea can to put back in the boat. So today is an exciting day where we get to put things back together.
Yay! One of those things was the hot water heater. But before the hot water heater went back in, we needed to reinstall its mounting bracket.
Okay, so this is the mount for the hot water tank that Taryn sandblasted and painted.
Ooh.
So it's all pretty. And it used to be mounted sideways like this. Like that. This would have been facing aft and this forward. And I want to change it so that it's facing like that.
So are you thinking of drilling new holes in it, or are you thinking of the whole tank is going to shift like that?
Well, the tank's going to face forward and aft instead of transverse.
Okay, so it was transverse, so it's going to move with the bracket.
The bracket's not going to move. The tank is going to move, so I need to modify the bracket to fit the tank again.
Okay.
Either that or we just make a new bracket. I'm not 100% sure yet. So that's about where it's going to sit.
Is that the original orientation, or that's the new way you want it?
That's the original orientation. Originally, it was right here.
But the other way around?
No, exactly like I have it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
But it was sideways. I think the hoses actually came out this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I want them to come out the other way. So that they face that way.
Yeah.
So we can access them easy. Well, yeah, I just have to weld some tabs on, or just weld a new bar across that I can drill into and mount it to.
Right.
So it really wouldn't be a lot of work. It's just, I mean, it'd take longer to set the welder up.
After all that discussion, Logan actually decided it was going to be easier to make a couple of new brackets instead of just altering the old one. And so that's what he did.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I got this end.
Okay.
Fucking coolant everywhere.
From what?
From me tipping it that way.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh no. Now that we knew how the tank was going back in, it was time to deal with all the plumbing for the freshwater system, which, of course, wasn't going to be easy.
So, it's glued on there or something.
So the vent hose changes size, essentially.
Yeah, and completely defeats the purpose of having the vent hose at that size. This is why when we were filling our water, it was blowing back out of the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's stuck in there.
Is it glued?
Well, I just think it's been on there for a long time. And they might have heated this to stick it over top, so I'll just cut it here so you can see. So basically,
yeah, that's a huge diameter difference.
it was going out of the tank at this size, then going through a hose that size.
Yeah. So really interrupting the flow of air.
Plus it was crushed because of the hose clamps. So if you look in there, it's like...
real small.
Yeah, the opening for that is tiny.
So we need more of that hose.
We need more of that hose. And it has a joiner in it.
And that's the water fill hose.
Yes.
So we set to the task of figuring out how much hose we were needing to replace.
The freshwater system, all of the hoses were running through this PVC piping. And it may have been a good thing from the start, but it has gone horribly wrong. No, it's just the bends and stuff were really sharp coming out of here. This is all the original hose, which isn't, most of it's not in terrible shape, surprisingly, but it is old and grungy and gross. Like the water coming out of it looks like that. All the orange stuff?
Yeah, it's probably rust out of the tank, eh?
Yeah, rust and
Minerals.
other crap. Yeah, and there was an extra run of line in there, so there was no real reason I can see or think of to have it there.
Can you explain how it was run? I don't think we've talked about that.
Right, so our water tanks are right here, and there's a line coming out to our pump, which is under here, and then from the pump it went across and all the way back to that port side locker where the hot water tank was, and it teed into the hot water tank and then ran all the way back to the front here and it teed again to go to the sink and to the head. So it seemed like a waste of an extra run of hose, so that's what this one is. And it's been melted because it crossed where the hot air was coming out of the other melted PVC from the heater.
We've got all the old water line going to and from the freshwater tank pulled out, right?
Yeah, I think all of it's out. Yep.
So, and then the PVC pipe that it was running through, you think you're going to pull that out?
I don't know yet. I'm not 100% convinced.
Okay. So it's just trying to figure out where to start running it first, or what?
Yeah, well, I want to move the water pump to a different location because it's too close to all the electrical right now, and it's just causing a huge mess of hoses and wires.
This is all the hose out of the boat now. Well, not all of it, but a good chunk of it. So this is all the old water hose. This is the color that it used to be, and that's the color it became because it's so old. It's not very flexible, and it's coated in icky stuff. You can't really tell. So anyway, this is all getting replaced. So to replace all of this hose, it costs $324 to buy the new stuff, which is a lot more than it was a few months ago. Everything's just gone up in price like crazy, which is not helping with this whole rebuild situation. But I guess that's just the way that it is.
I'm just running the hose for the freshwater system. So we've got this Trident hose. It's marine rated potable water hose. And that's what we're going to use. All of it is red because it's the cheapest. And all of the hot water, we are going to insulate the hose. Just for the hot water to the taps. So it'll stay hot in the lines longer. Just gonna clamp it in the place where the old ones were, I guess.
Once the hose is run, the stuff that is going to have hot water running through it also got some insulation. And just like that, we have a new freshwater system installed. Now I can't tell you whether or not it's really going to be worth it until we're back on the water testing it out. But from where I sit now, it feels pretty good to know that all of the hoses that are going to be bringing water to my mouth are clean and empty of any gross stuff. And it's also nice to have things a bit more organized down below. Thanks so much for watching, and please press that subscribe button if you made it this far. And an extra big shout out to our patrons, especially John, for giving us that extra little boost.